This podcast is about to start in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so we got this recorded now. It's just Hito and Ricardo. And Hito, how you doing?
I'm alright, man. How you doing, Ricardo?
Doing pretty good. It's kind of hot here in California where I live, and I'm slowly dying, but it's all good. How about you?
Oh, I've been working as a farmer, tending crops and eating rice and wheat. And, I've been playing lots of GTA with Thor and, drinking beer. Yeah, it's been fun here in Asgard.
Asgard. That's where Thor's from, right?
Yeah, well, no. I'm in Japan. I am in Japan, specifically in a place called Hiroshima. And yeah, that was me channeling my, what's that character? Korg. Yeah, Korg's voice.
Today, we're here to discuss a little bit about ourselves, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the newest season of Black Mirror and both of our histories behind it,
Shouldn't we tell our lovely listeners what we call this podcast? It's called Minority Opinions Podcast.
Yeah, and I don't know if the folks back home know why it's called that, but me personally, I'm from a small town in California, and I come from a Latino background. And Hito?
Hi, my name is Hito. It's spelled as Hito. It sounds like mojito, but without the mo. Yeah, so hello, everybody. That's how I introduce myself in pretty much every occasion. But even then, people will be like, wait, so your name is Tito? Or is it Keto? It's like, no, I'm not one of the Jackson brothers. Nope. So, we are former roommates.
And I'd say colleagues right now.
Yeah, now we're colleagues.
Yeah.
And
because,
we hate each other.
Hito had the blessing to live with me for a year on his senior year of college, actually.
Yes, it was such an honor.
It was an honor.
Sharing a room.
Blushes, but
And we both majored in film. He still majors in film. I graduated about a year ago, and you are graduating when again?
This year, 2020. God damn, I'm old.
Yeah, confetti flying.
Confetti flying, jeez.
So, yeah, we were roommates, and we both study film. And that's why we're doing the podcast. And we're doing the podcast because we are so sick of all these white guys talking about movies on YouTube. And we were like, we can do so much better than these fucking jerk-offs.
Oh, yeah. Trigger warning, by the way, if that matters.
Yeah, trigger warning. So if you have fragile masculinity, go fuck yourself. And basically, on this podcast, usually, even though we're talking about Black Mirror on this episode, we usually talk about movies and pretty much anything entertainment related. Does that sum up what this is about?
I'd agree because, because film could differ from, it could go from YouTube to the movie theaters to short films of all things. So, it's a wide net of topics. So we're not just the people who just say, I love Clockwork Orange, and that's their only knowledge. Like you gotta reach beyond what you know.
We're not one of those fuckers who says, oh my god, Fight Club is the best movie ever.
And I'm just like, have you seen Paddington 2 and 1? Like, come on, man.
Yes, Paddington 2 is the gold standard of cinema. Yes, and we eat marmalade sandwich because it's awesome.
Oh, all the time. Speaking of British culture, you know what else is British?
What is it? Ricardo?
Black Mirror. I don't know if most people know this, but Black Mirror is actually a British TV show. It's actually British.
Yes, it is.
Because, between Hito and I'm typically the one, I was always the one into Black Mirror, and Hito was the one who joined later on. But we both have...
Yeah, you are much more of an expert on this.
It doesn't...
And I'm...
Oh, no.
I didn't join this, oh my god, Black Mirror is amazing party until March of this year.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And I watched all 4 seasons in a month, I think. It took about a month.
Oh, man. Because when I saw it in high school, actually. because I remember, because I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos, and one of them said, "Oh, there's this British TV show called Black Mirror, and there's an episode where the president has sex with a pig," and I was like, "Okay, what is this?" So I watched the episodes, and I'd say the first 2 seasons are the strongest because, okay, strong opinion alert. They were purely British, so, and I don't know if most people know, but the British, they've done a lot of stuff in history, but one thing they've done very well is science fiction. I think that country does really well with science fiction.
I agree.
And after season 3, which season 3 was the first season to incorporate American actors and American money supporting the show. So that's where the idea started blending with American culture, which leads us to season 5.
What's your favorite Black Mirror episode or season?
Personally, I believe season. Oh, that's a tough one. It's hard to measure by season because a lot of seasons have their apex episodes, and then they sometimes have their lowest rated episodes. But I will say the best episode, and I will argue to death, is The Entire History of You, where the basic premise is putting a recording device on your head, and it talks about the morality of memory. And that topic of the ideas of memories and time passing holds very dear to me. So that's why I personally latch on to the most. And what about you? What do you think is the best one?
My favorite season is probably season 4. Because I enjoyed that season, and I think there is one or two episodes that I found somewhat mediocre, but it was consistently entertaining, and I enjoyed season 4 the most. But I think my favorite episode, along with The Entire History of You, is the Be Right Back, the one from season 2.
That's a simple but super effective.
That was fucking heartbreaking.
Heartbreak. That's the exact word.
I was crying my eyes out. The first 10 minutes, I was like, "Oh no,
General Hux.
General Hux fucking dies off screen."
Oh man, more than a woman. Yeah.
And I think Haley Atwell, who played the Peggy Carter in the MCU, was fucking brilliant in that episode.
That's exactly what I love in that show. Sometimes the best episodes are the ones that they throw in here's Ricardo's perfect episode formula. You have piece of technology, you have greedy person equals dark route to humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So then the good episodes, like Entire History, you have recording device of memories, the idea of cheating equals paranoia, and how does humans react to that?
Yeah.
And the idea of, okay, we have replaceable human husband passing away. How does that react to Haley Atwell?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect episode.
Yeah.
In regards to season 5, that's not the case entirely, is it?
Yeah, season 5 fucking sucks.
I thought it was okay. As you can see, we have different opinions, but that's what the podcast is all about. Okay, we're gonna break down each one, probably give a little synopsis, and then we're just gonna talk about it a little bit. Like the first episode, Striking Vipers. We have a story about these two men, one Anthony Mackie, Falcon, living in the suburbs with his woman he married when he met in I'm assuming the 80s. I wasn't entirely sure if it was the 80s. It seemed
college. Like it. I don't know when that episode takes place. So.
That's a good, okay. And then his best friend, who he's more of the wild type, leather jacket wearing guy, always gets the girls buff. He still lives a life in the city with the pinball machines, the neon colors. They make it. I like the way they tell you visually, like, oh, he's the more wild one, where his household was more like neutral colors, kind of boring, but still kind of relaxing. This entire episode, uniquely, there isn't really a twist in regards to the technology. It's a twist in regards to the people, which is kind of rare for Black Mirror. Like, we have the two characters syncing together to play a video game. It's basically Street Fighter. It's called like Striking Vipers, but it has the X logo, the same fonts. So it's just Street Fighter, which I thought was clever, but it's a clever reference. The unique part was when they're fighting together, the the crazy best friend, I can't remember his name for my life. He plays as a woman character, where Mackie,
Anthony Falcon.
he plays as like a Ryu type character, like typical, like wearing a karate outfit with a black belt.
Yes.
They begin, making love in the virtual world, which is shocking to me. But what did you think of that?
So I'm one of those people who believes that queer stories should be told by queer storytellers. I know there are some heterosexual storytellers out there who can do, a pretty good job telling this kind of story. But generally speaking, and ideally, when it comes to gay relationships, bisexual characters, transgender stories, non-binary stories, when a story deals with those things, I want people from that community to tell those stories.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to say empty in a sense where, like, visually, I feel like visually the story was told very well. But then when you have the character interactions, at one point when you have the wife, my favorite parts were when they were discussing the conflict, like the diner scene when they're like, "Are you with somebody? Are you with somebody?" It's like, oh, it's not a woman, it's a man. Like, I found that idea very interesting, in how we use technology to find other people. And I don't know if you thought of this when you were watching it. I thought it was going to discuss the idea of, becoming a different gender identity. I thought it was going that route.
Yes, and I wish it did. My biggest problem with like any romantic, poorly constructed romantic stories is when they don't set up the characters and their relationships well. Mm-hmm. And I feel they didn't do a good job. They didn't even do a decent job at setting up who these two main characters are and what their relationships are. Yeah, I mean, we see them playing video games and sort of, having fun with each other, kind of being a bro, having a bro time or whatever. But it was never, it was never implied that both of them were either bisexual or had feelings for each other. Yes, thank you.
If I could maybe summarize the episode in 2 words, I feel like you'll agree. I would label it as wasted potential.
It is.
That's what hurt me the most. Because after I watched this episode, my initial reactions were like, "Oh, I liked it." But as I kept watching, I was like, "Where is this going? Where do you want to talk about video game culture and like how it's primarily masculine, and they're gonna find ways to challenge it, like USS Callister, which is also a very well written episode." Mm-hmm. But they didn't go that route. And I was like, I just kept thinking, like, what are you trying to accomplish? It felt like it didn't take any risks.
No, it didn't.
Hence, wasted potential.
Yeah, and I think it would have meant a lot more if the character, not the Anthony Mackie character, the other character, mm-hmm. His choice, his video game persona was actually a dude, like a super macho dude, instead of a girl.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, I found it lukewarm. I didn't have that passion like as other episodes' relationships are built on.
Yeah,
it breaks my heart, but I mean, the next episode, I think we both agree, we both enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was a huge improvement. I liked it. The smithereens.
And so the entire episode relies on a hostage situation, which I thought was interesting. But the idea of technology was kind of loose in this episode.
Yeah, it wasn't really there. Like I think the best way to sum up this season is that it wasn't Black Mirror.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this season Black Mirror.
There was nothing particularly Black Mirror about this season. It just felt like it has neat narratives, neat stories that happen to involve technology, but the technology was not the center of it.
Of course, at the end of the message, like of the episode, and spoiler territory, we have this Jack Dower, and in the show they call him Billy Dower, but that's actually making fun of the real life CEO of Twitter, Jack something. It's totally the guy who owns Twitter. He has the beard.
Oh,
he has
okay.
the man bun. He told in the format of Smithereen. It's like Twitter. It's making fun of Twitter. It's
Okay.
the idea of texting and driving because our main protagonist lost his fiance while he checked his phone, and I thought that's an interesting message because it's not necessarily a piece of technology that is being criticized. It's a current technology that we're using right now. It's not futuristic. It's current, which I thought made the episode more interesting.
Yeah, I liked this episode, although it's definitely the best in this season, but I still
definitely.
find it. Yeah, I still found it somewhat disappointing. I felt like this is one of those cases. This is one of those mystery thrillers in which the not knowing part is the best part. Like once you figure out what this guy was trying to do and the secret that he has with the, flashbacks showing this woman from, I don't know, the past or who is this woman thing. And it's just when the reveal happened, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not into that. I just didn't really care. And I think the best part for me was when the car was stuck in the field, and it became a sort of one of those confined space thrillers. So it's about the guy and the guy in the back, the perpetrator and the guy in the back seat, and the police surrounding it. That felt like, okay, this is really great. This is tense. It's gripping. I'm into this. And he's trying to make a phone call, and the tech guru, played by Topher Grace, which was great. I thought he was fucking fantastic in this. I think Andrew Scott is fucking amazing. He is a great English actor.
Mr. Moriarty, of course, for our Sherlock fans out there.
Oh, yeah, right. And it's tense, and the resolution is kind of disappointing. I think the middle section for me was the best part.
This episode, I feel like it was a solid episode, but if you consider that it's a Black Mirror episode, it might appear a bit disappointing at the end.
I would have liked it if the script had been tighter. Like I think it was like an hour and 5 minute long episode. I could be wrong, but I felt it was very long.
It felt very long. I felt like a maybe 30-minute short film, maybe.
Yeah, I think the first 10 minutes could have been cut out, actually. If they had started with him picking up the intern and then start from there, I think it would have made it smoother.
Maybe
the narrative more.
Drop in some flashbacks throughout the eepisode to be like, oh, what's going on? Like, who is this guy? All right, so final grade for Smithereen?
B-.
I like this episode a bit more. I give it a B+, I'd say. Okay, so
final episode.
Final episode is it was a confusing. It's a Jack, Michael, and myself.
No, Rachel, Jack, and Ashley 2 is, I think, the title, which is probably one of the stupidest titles in Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have that ring to it or that weird sensation.
Yeah. So this is what? How do you describe this episode? So there are two different storylines at first. One revolves around this girl who just moved to this town and she doesn't really have many friends, but she is obsessed with this pop star played by Miley Cyrus, and that's another storyline. So Ashley O, who is a global sensation, she's sort of
she's
Miley Cyrus. It's Miley Cyrus. It's Hannah Montana. But
yeah.
This episode has two storylines about two different characters, and it doesn't really come together until the last 25 minutes.
I agree very strongly.
Yeah, it's just One is about this girl wanting to. I don't even actually know what her motive is. What is her goal here? I know Ashley's goal is wake up from the coma.
Yeah,
wanting to choose a different career path. Not necessarily different career path, but different kind of music. She's more into like a grungy rock type music and not really into the pop thing. And then there's this merchandise called Ashley 2, which is basically Alexa.
And then the episode revolves around this girl using that piece of technology to boost her confidence in her newly, administrated school, which I thought was, okay, this is an interesting topic. But like you said with your problems, it seems like this episode split into two completely different storylines. What's your take on both halves? Because I feel like this isn't one episode. This is 2 episodes.
I would have liked it to be just about Ashley O. Because I found the whole girls struggle with fitting in thing so boring. It's like, I've seen this before, and the whole fight with her sister is like, yeah, I've seen this already, and the dad is one of those dads who's not really there. It's like, yeah, I get it. The mother is dead, and that kind of broke the family apart. And it's like, okay, I don't need to see this, and it doesn't really add up in the end. It's just
the famous "when mom was around" line. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
here we go. Like, I'm sorry, but when I hear the part "when mom was around," I'm just like, I get it. Here's the thing. Here's the thing of this episode, though. I think it had much more potential than striking vipers. I feel like,
yeah,
because this is where my rating for the episode rises. There's a part in the episode where the manager of Miley Cyrus begins to, how would you explain it? Like, siphon her musical talents into an album?
Yeah, she basically extracts rhythms and lyrics from her brain to make new songs.
I found that just particularly so fascinating. That is sci-fi to the max. I feel like that was the strongest written idea this entire season, because I don't know if you know this, but did you know there was going to be a Tupac and Michael Jackson hologram tour around the early 2010s?
Wow.
I was going to have Tupac perform around the country and have Michael Jackson perform around the world globally. And it was this hologram. And that topic still very much relevant today, especially with Carrie Fisher's passing. The idea of humans' faces being copyrighted. I don't know about you, Hito, but that topic is just super fascinating.
I mean, we just had the whole discussion like a year ago about Prince hologram thing.
Ooh, we did. I remember that. Oof.
Yeah. So wait, wasn't it like Justin Timberlake trying to do Prince hologram thing in one of his shows or something? Yeah.
Technically, it wasn't a hologram. He just, because the Super Bowl, which half-baked Super Bowl performance, but it was in Minnesota where Prince is from. So then he decided to play a video of him. So technically, it wasn't. It was more like, oh, I'm singing to his song as he's singing it. Not really a hologram, like Tupac. Like, same idea but different sport.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this episode, no, they're completely fabricating her reality.
Yeah.
They had like the VR suit and like the motion sensor. All of that was interesting, but that was around 20 minutes?
It's like the last 10 minutes.
And then it became like a Disney Channel movie where like they're driving the car really fast and they're like, oh, you gotta hit the red light. I haven't driven. And I was like, this is cute, but it's not Black Mirror. I wish it focused more on the copyrighted identities using technology, because there's a sequence which I thought was the strongest in the episode where the manager explains how she's going to use the hologram to perform all around the world. Like, that topic regarding to consent of using your identity, that could be an episode all on its own. But of course, like season 5, undercooked ideas.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think that idea should be the center of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
having said that, though, I did find the unhinged, swear-tastic Miley Cyrus really funny. Like when they get rid of the what is it, the limit thing on the limiter on Ashley too. It was hilarious. I loved that bit.
A lot of strange choices with the season. We have Undercooked Queer Story, in my opinion, which had potential. We both agree on. We have Smithereens. It's solid episode, but I felt like it needed more polishing. Maybe a little bit more time to focus on the actions, like how do we get from point A to point B to point C, like a little bit tighter, like you said.
Yeah.
And then episode 3, which
a dark Disney Channel movie.
Certified. You're thinking about checking out Black Mirror? Go back to season 1. Go back to season 2. Those are the apex seasons. Season 3, first American season, pretty good, pretty solid. I have a theory.
Okay.
I have a theory.
Okay.
As the seasons go on, it feels like the producers on Netflix are like squeezing Charlie Brooker, saying, we want more of that Black Mirror juice. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't. And they're like, no, give us more. And you just get just like toothpaste. He's getting dry.
Yeah, he's definitely running out of ideas. So it'd be great if he could bring in a couple more writers.
Television is not easy to write sometimes. Just by one person, you're gonna need a small team probably. Season 5 of Black Mirror. Final thoughts.
It sucked.
Okay, so that's our graduate right there.
Yeah, that's my thesis. That's my thesis statement. Season 5 of Black Mirror. It fucking sucked.
That's as much as it hurts me to say this. I thought it was underwhelming. Underwhelming. That's the word I want to use.
Yeah, underwhelming is the perfect word.
Underwhelming, and probably the weakest season of the entire series.
So I guess that's it for this tryout episode. We're not quite sure if we're gonna make this a regular thing because we both live in different countries. I live in Japan, you live in the States. It's hard to make our schedules work.
Yeah, but, it's almost 11 p.m. over here, and it's barely 2 o'clock over there. So
yeah, so
time differences make things different. Be open-minded, people. That's the goal of the show. Be open-minded.
Yeah, just listen to this episode. Please give it a like. I think I'm going to post it on YouTube for now. I know it's not the best place, but I'll figure out some other podcast, what do you call it? Not venues, but like services.
Yeah.
Where we can put this on. But yeah, that's the end of this episode about Black Mirror Season 5, which fucking sucked. Like this video. Or like this file, and what should we talk about in the next episode, which we are hoping to do in like a week, maybe 2, less than 2 weeks.
Well, I know you've seen Godzilla recently, and
I do want to talk about Godzilla.
I'm going to see Rocket Man tomorrow, actually.
So we could talk about Rocket Man and Godzilla, and maybe a couple more.
Double review, maybe?
Double review? Yeah, sounds good.
Double review. Sounds good. That's next week's episode. We'll call it the Double Trouble.
Double Trouble.
Double Trouble, good. Make it a double. All right.
Jesus. All right, so thanks for listening. If you guys want to follow us on Twitter, my Twitter handle is @Hitotastic. You can follow me there @Hitotastic, HITO-tastic, like fantastic. And what's your Twitter handle?
I don't know the main one is called Hamlet's Corpse.
And what's your @thing?
I believe it's @RickyRicardo76.
Alrighty, so follow us there and like this podcast so we can make more. All right, so peace out.
Signing off, Hito. Take care.
Yeah, you too.